The best piece of advice I have for someone trying to succeed in the film industry or any creative space is if you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're doing it wrong.
One of the best to ever do it.
What is freedom? I think I stole this from Bob Dylan, but maybe I stole this from Woody Guthrie. Freedom for me is waking up in the morning and going to sleep at night, and in between doing exactly what I want to do. What's the secret to happiness? The secret to happiness is finding something you love and then doing that for the rest of your life.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Site Review Tuesday. I'm Robert with Zenfolio Customer Success, and I want to say thank you for joining me. Now, here in a minute, we're going to get to reviewing one of your websites, and I do want to point out that while this has been pre-recorded, I'm hanging out in the chat, interacting with you guys live and answering your questions. Now, if you're interested in having your website reviewed, there's a link in the description below this video where you can submit your site. And in addition to getting a site review, I also offer a one-on-one session to each photographer who has had a site review done to help them answer any questions or assist in making any changes that they may want to make. Now, don't forget, we also live stream every Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, so I hope to see you there. Let's get into the site review. Hey guys, Robert with Zenfolio here, and welcome to Site Review Tuesday, where today we're going to be reviewing danledbetterphotography.com. So that address is danledbetterphotography.com. I believe that's a Pearl Jam song too, right? Somebody let me know in the chat. I think that's a Pearl Jam song. But we're going to get started here on the homepage. I want to say thank you so much, Dan, for submitting your site to be reviewed. We really appreciate it. Hopefully I'm going to give you some good insight and you guys will get a lot out of this today. And as I'm going through this, if you guys in the chat have comments, questions, make sure that you throw those in the chat. I will be moderating the chat and answering your questions as we go along, but definitely throw your comments in there. All right, Dan, so starting out here, I really like this really cool red logo up here with the kind of the silver around it. One of the things that I noticed is that throughout the rest of your site, that red color kind of does not appear. And so I'm wondering if maybe you can't incorporate this red into your branding on your colors and your website somewhere along the way, like maybe on your menu items or, you know, different accents like that to bring that red in. The other thing I did notice is that you did take the time to do a favicon up here, and now this one is a little bit different than this. This is your black and white version, which is totally fine. Most companies, whenever they create logos, especially ones like this, they will have a couple of different versions to accommodate different uses, different colors and things like that. So having a black and white one is fine, and this one as well. But I would like to see some more of this red incorporated somewhere on your website. But other than that, I think you're off to a great start. It's awesome that you have the custom URL set up here, so that's fantastic. All right, let's talk about this slideshow. So if you'll notice, the slideshow has been sitting still on this image for quite a bit. That's because I was watching it earlier, and there's about 25 images here, and what happens is when all of the images cycle through, this slideshow is not set to repeat. So once it cycles through all of the images, it does not start over. So that's something that you might want to take a look at, Dan, is setting that slideshow up so that it repeats the images. So once it's gone through all the images, it keeps going. Now there are 25 photos here on this slideshow, and some of them are in a different aspect ratio. And so for this style of homepage that you're using, one of the things you want to keep in mind is the very first image in the gallery that you're using for this slideshow actually sets the aspect ratio for that slideshow frame that we're seeing here. And so what I would suggest doing, kind of to get rid of this dead space around here, is, you know, maybe crop your photos that you're going to use on your homepage at that same aspect ratio, or at least you try to use photos that all have the same aspect ratio in this slideshow. For portrait orientated images like that, you might consider pulling those up in Photoshop, kind of making a collage, putting 3 of them together on there so that there's not all that dead space to the right and left of it. And then again, as with always on your homepage slideshow, you have 25 images here. What I would suggest doing is rethinking these images, rethinking the number of photos that you have, and ask yourself, if I could only show somebody 10 to 15 photos to convince them to hire me as a photographer, what 10 or 15 photos am I going to show them? And that is the images that you want showing up here on your homepage slideshow. Again, we don't want people lingering here. We don't want people watching this for a long time. 10 to 15 images really max, your very absolute best photos. We want to get people moving on to the rest of your site, looking at your portfolios, reaching out and contacting you. That's the goal of the website. And so I would consider 1, rethinking the images, cutting it down to your best 10 to 15. 2, thinking about the aspect ratio of the images. And if you want to show those portrait orientated images, maybe putting them together in a collage so that they fill that space rather than having all that dead space around it. So again, here we've reached that last image and it's just going to kind of sit here on this page and not do anything. The other thing as well is, you guys don't hear it because I do have my tab muted, but there is a soundtrack on this. If you like soundtracks on your website, that's perfectly fine. As somebody who's online, usually I'm listening to my own music, and when a soundtrack comes on, it tends to annoy me and I tend to end up muting it anyway. So just something to think about there with soundtracks. All right, let's go to your site menu. I do have to say that I find this a little confusing. We have galleries, and under galleries we have featured, we have family portraits, we have senior portraits, and then we have all galleries. All right, and then we have seniors, and we have portfolio, we have corporate events, and we have portfolio, professional, and then we have professional portraits. So let's start at the top here talking about galleries. I don't know if this is necessarily a site menu item that you want showing or wording it this way. I feel like what would be better is if you had portfolio, and under portfolio was a drop down. There was family portraits, senior portraits, corporate events, and professional portraits. So these feel a little spread out and they feel a little confusing. And one thing that really confuses me is if I go to galleries here is senior portraits, but then there's a seniors menu item with a portfolio underneath it, which is a little bit confusing for me. For one, this doesn't really need to be a drop down. And for 2, why is there senior portraits in here in this site menu item? And then why is it here as a drop down with portfolio inside of it? So for me, that's a little confusing. Probably what I would suggest is having a portfolio drop down with family portraits, senior portraits, corporate events, and then just portraits or professional portraits. All right. We're going to get to taking a look at these. I would definitely not have all galleries showing up here. And featured, I'm not sure that is something that I would show. If you're going to have that featured showing, why is it featured? What makes the galleries in there special? Maybe you want to call it recent clients or something like that. What is featured about it? Definitely something to think about there. Guest book. I always suggest removing the guest book. If you want to have a client testimonials page, do it with a custom page that you can control. The guest book for me feels a little bit outdated. Blog and about and contact, I think these are fine. The site menu is fine, but let's just keep going down here on the homepage. Now you have search showing here. Is your website optimized for search? Is it something that you want people to use? Is this something that you are conscious of? You want people to use this? If the answer to that is yes, leave this on here. If the answer is, well, I'm not sure, or maybe, or yeah, I guess it's okay. If it's anything other than a confident yes, I would remove this. If you're not optimizing your photos for search, if you don't want people searching your photos, you need to get this removed. Let's type in portraits and just see what pops up here. All right, so we have 2 password protected client galleries. We have 1, 2, three other galleries here that are showing up. We have some collections and we have some photos that are showing up in here. And my question is this stuff that should be showing up in search results? Is this stuff that people should be finding? Is this stuff that you want people to find? If the answer to that is no, let's get that search page pulled off, or that search option turned off here on this. Also, view guestbook and add an entry. You've already got the guestbook right here. If you want to continue using that guestbook, let's remove this and just leave that option here. I don't really like the extra thing that it adds over here. Contact info. I think this is perfectly fine to show this on your homepage. It helps with your SEO. It has your location and stuff here. You can definitely add this information in a welcome message if you want and use a different homepage. Featured galleries and collections. Again, is this stuff that you want showing up here? If it's not, I would turn that off. I would definitely turn off the guestbook section here. To be honest, if it was me, I would turn all of this off right here. Maybe leave the contact info for the SEO purposes and having your location, have the search and the guestbook turned off, and have this homepage cleaned up a little bit. All right, let's move on to the galleries here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to galleries, and I'm just going to go ahead, and we saw featured, but let's go ahead and click on that. So here are your featured galleries, and this is a group page. All right, so this is a group page, and it's taking me somewhere where these are groups that have been added in there, and then if we click on this, we can actually go in and see the gallery. Now, here is something, right? So as a visitor to your website, if I'm looking for a photographer, as a visitor to your website, I go to galleries. All I've seen of these images, I go to galleries. The first ones there are featured. So featured tells me, hey, these are galleries that I'm featuring. Maybe I want to see them. I show up here. One is locked with a password. The other one is asking me for my name and my email to view these photos. This feels like a big deterrent and a big discouragement to me as a visitor. What do you guys think in chat? Let me know. But I feel really discouraged and deterred when I'm trying to go view photos as a visitor to your site, getting here and kind of hitting these semi-roadblocks. Well, I don't know if I want to give you my name or my email. I've only seen the handful of pictures that you have on your homepage. I'm not even sure if I'm interested in you yet. I just wanted to kind of look through. So let's go back. Let's go back again. Let's go back to galleries. Let's go to family portraits. All right, again, I'm hitting kind of a deterrent here, like I'm not really sure yet if I'm interested, right? So I think that gallery sign-in can be a really useful feature. If you want to use gallery sign-in, what I would recommend doing is creating a portfolio preview page or a preview gallery, right? Set up a gallery with 2 or 3 of the absolute best images from each genre of photography that you shoot. Put it in that gallery, call it portfolio, make it your first menu item here. People click on it, no visitor sign in on that gallery. They can view your best 2 or 3 images from each genre that you shoot. And then in that caption of that gallery, you can say, hey, are you interested in seeing more of my work? You know, click here, and then it could take them to a group page where then you have dedicated galleries to each genre. You have a specific dance portfolio gallery that they can click on. And then in that section, when they're clicking to go deeper, that's when you hit them with the visitor sign in. So give us a portfolio preview that we can easily get in and see more examples of your work. And then when we want to dive a little bit deeper, if you want to use that visitor sign on, that is when I would suggest using it. So giving us the portfolio preview, we decide, yes, we like your work. We want to dive a little bit deeper into this category. And then you ask us for our name and email. That's how I would set it up and use that. I wouldn't have it on every gallery at this entry point just quite yet. I would really think about simplifying this, bringing all these together with your best of your best from each category, your best, 2 to 3 images into one gallery, call it portfolio, have it up here, no visitor sign on, and then the option to go deeper past that point after they've decided that they want to. Well, let's just keep moving on. Let's see if we can actually get into one without having to do visitor sign in. My guess is going to be no, but we're going to try it out and see. So that is senior portraits, and I can't get into that. All galleries. I would never, ever have all galleries set up to be visible from my homepage, because you definitely going to want to have control over some sections of your website, some sections of content that nobody has access to but you, or nobody has access to but your intended client. All All right, let's go back. Let's go to seniors, portfolio. Let's see if we can get in here. So far, if I'm a visitor, I am not able to get in to see any of your portfolios because I'm not sure that I'm ready to give you my email yet or not. Let's see right here. Okay, so it looks like we're not going to be able to get in here without giving you an email. So we're going to go to family portraits, and I'm just going to put in an email really quick. Let's do Zen visitor at gmail.com. All right. All right, and so now I'm in here, and this does not look like a portfolio to me. This looks like client galleries. And the reason I say that is because there are all these galleries right here with password protection. So now as a visitor to your site, I am really frustrated because I wanted to see more of your family portraits as a portfolio. And that's kind of what I thought I was going to get to, but now I'm getting into client galleries. So now I gave you my email address and I can't even get in here to see anything. There's a couple here that I can get into. And this is where I'm really confused as a client, because now I'm wondering, like, is this stuff that I should be seeing? If I'm a client, is this where my stuff's going to show up? So I feel like it's really confusing as a client. You have some great work. From what I've seen, your images are beautiful. And these are nice studio shots. You've got some nice outdoor shots up here. Great work. Really confusing flow for visitors and clients. So on your website, you want to make sure that you have two clear, distinct paths for people to follow. One for visitors. You want to make it easy and really point out where they should go to see more of your work, and then they should be contacting you. The visitor flow should be, first, I want you to get interested in me from my images on my homepage. Then I want you to get to look at more by going to my portfolio, then leading to a contact. That's the visitor flow. The client flow, these are people who are already your clients. So my client flow is I either email them their galleries directly. I usually don't allow client access from the homepage because my homepage is really dedicated towards my visitors. I usually email my clients their galleries directly or do a Zenfolio event or something like that. So again, if I'm a visitor coming to your website, and I just gave you my name and email address so that I could see potentially more family portrait examples of your work, and now I'm getting here and I'm seeing client galleries that I can't get in because I don't have the password, I'm pretty frustrated by now, and chances are I'm probably just going to give this site the boot and head out and look on down the road because I haven't been able to access anything. So just something to think about there. So let's go back to the homepage and let's try another one here. Let's go down to senior portraits. All right, now I got in here because I already did the visitor sign in once. So that's nice that it's remembered in the cookies and I don't have to go back and keep doing visitor sign in over and over again to each one that I visited. If that was the case, I would be really frustrated, but at least I was able to get in here without having to do visitor sign in again. But again, I'm really confused because this is galleries and senior portraits, and this looks like client galleries to me. This does not look like a portfolio. And so if I'm going in here, again, I'm wondering, am I supposed to see this? Or is my work going to show up here? If I hire Dan for a shoot, is this where my stuff's going to be showing up? So let's go back and let's go to seniors, which I'm not even sure this is a portfolio until I hover over it and it says portfolio. And let's click here. All right. And so now here I'm going to a portfolio, which leads me directly to a slideshow. Now, and most of these images are images that I've already seen on the homepage, and it's going into this full screen slideshow, which I can't control. So I would definitely consider some reorganization and rethinking the way that this flow is working. Because for me as a visitor, now I'm thrown into this slideshow. It's a full screen slideshow. It's kind of taken over my screen. Probably not the best experience after I've been going through and diving through stuff trying to just find the portfolio in the first place. So Dan, what I would probably consider doing is this. All right. And once I hit back, I'm taken back here. So what I would consider, all right, is I would get this galleries, and if these are your client galleries, you need to name, if this is how you want your client flow to be, that's fine. You need to name this client galleries. All right. I would remove all galleries and featured out of the way unless there's a specific reason why you have that. And I would put client galleries further down the website because you want to speak primarily to the people who are just showing up to your website, to your visitors. That's who you're targeting. Your clients, you've already got them. You're taking care of them. Visitors is who you're after with your homepage. So I would take that client galleries. I would rename this client galleries. I would get rid of featured in all galleries unless there's a specific reason why you have that in there. I would move that down. I would take these different categories. I would put them together in a drop down that says portfolio, and then it's a drop down. And then if you want to have a seniors portfolio, a corporate events portfolio, a portraits portfolio, I would have that set up. I would not have visitors sign in on those initial portfolios. I would make it to where visitors could get in there and easily browse a handful of your images. And then if they want to see more, then you send them to a gallery where visitor sign in is turned on, and then they can see more examples of your work. And you want to make sure that that is being diversified. You don't want to use the same exact images that you're using on your homepage slideshow in your portfolio as well. So you want to start showing some diversity inside of that portfolio. Once your visitors make it in there, they get in there, they're seeing some new images. That's what you want to have set up. So I would definitely consider redoing that, thinking about that. Removing the guest book. Sorry, we're going to run out of time. I'm not going to get into everything that I wanted to talk about. Dan, I think you have some great images. I really think that rethinking the strategy of this site menu is really going to help. Having two clear paths, one that's dedicated to visitors, getting them to see the work that they're interested in, and then getting them to make a contact to you. That is the path that you want to lay out for your visitors. For clients, it's all about getting them to their gallery, so you can just create a client's gallery link, but I would have that further on down the site menu here. All right, great photos, Dan. I think you got a great start. Biggest thing I would focus on is reorganizing and rethinking your site menu strategy. Thank you so much for submitting your site for review. I hope that this was helpful, and thank you guys for hanging out and checking out this review. Hey, thank you guys so much for watching that site review. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you click that subscribe button and hit the little bell icon so you get notified when we post videos and when we go live. Now, if you're interested in having your site reviewed, there's a link in the description below this video where you can submit your website for that. And in addition to getting a site review, you're also going to get a link where you can schedule a session with me. We're going to go over your website, go over the review. I'll answer any questions that you have and help you make any changes that you're interested in making. So the link to sign up for that is in the description below this video. Now, don't forget Zenfolio Live coming up this Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Hope to see you guys there. Until then, I hope you have a great week.